Shalom. I just want to start off by saying, Call Halayim La Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, or Kakadash. Want to give double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect and I can spread the truth throughout the four corners of this earth. My name is Asha Alam. And today I just want to talk about this video. Let's see, I'm going to go ahead and play it for you real quick. So, this guy said that the Lord never ordained burnt sacrifices or offerings, and that we got it from the heathen, and clearly he doesn't know the context of what was said, nor does he know the scriptures. So let's jump to this Jeremiah 7. And I'm going to be jumping around here a little bit. But I'm going to start at, let's see. I'm going to start at verse 8. This is Jeremiah 7:8. It says, Behold, ye trust in lying words that cannot profit. Will ye steal, murder, commit adultery, swear falsely, and burn incense unto Baal, and walk after the other gods whom ye know not, and come and stand before me in this house, which is called by my name, and say, We are delivered to do all these abominations? In this house, which is called by my name, become a den of robbers in your eyes? Behold, even I have seen it, saith the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushai. So our people, the Israelites, the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, they were walking after other gods, man, and doing all sorts of abominations, man. But then going back and trying to serve the Lord, man, And jumping down to verse 18, it says, The children gather wood, and the fathers kindle fire, and the women knead their dough to make cakes, to the Queen of Heaven, and to pour out drink offerings unto other gods, that they may provoke me to anger. Do they provoke me to anger, saith the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushai? Do they provoke themselves to the confusion of their own faces? So a lot of Queen of Heaven worship was going on. A lot of Queen of Heaven worship was going on, serving of other idols, and the Lord says, do they provoke me to anger? Like, am I the one that they're hurting? No, they're hurting their own selves, to their own shame. Verse 20 says, Therefore, thus saith the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushai, power. Behold, my anger and my fury shall be poured out upon this place, upon man, and upon beast, and upon the trees of the field, and upon the fruit of the ground, and it shall burn, and shall not be quenched. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushai of hosts, the power of Israel, put your burnt offerings onto your onto your sacrifices and eat flesh. And I'm gonna read this. I'm gonna just read this in the NLT. It says, "This is what the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushai of heaven's armies, the power of Israel, says, take your burnt offerings and your other sacrifices and eat them yourselves." Verse 22 back in the KJV says, For I spake not unto your fathers, nor commanded them in the day I brought them out of Egypt, I brought them out of the land of Egypt, concerning burnt offerings and sacrifices. But this thing commanded I them, saying, Obey my voice, and I will be your power, and ye shall be my people, and walk ye in all the ways that I have commanded you, that it may be well unto you. So the Lord's fed up, man. What's the point of accepting your burnt offerings for you to go and to commit the abominations again? It's like at this point Israel was knowing that they were going to do the abominations, but beforehand they was preparing their offerings already. So when they do it, they would go and offer it, and try to get that atonement, and the Lord was fed up with it, man. He said back in verse 21, you take your burnt offerings and your sacrifices and eat them yourselves, So let's go into it. I just want to get this Exodus first. Let's see, Exodus 19. It says, in the 3rd month, when the children of Israel were gone forth out of the land of Egypt, the same day came they into the wilderness of Sinai, for they were departed from Rephidim, and were come to the desert of Sinai, and had pitched in the wilderness. And there Israel camped before the mount, and Moses went up to the Most High, and the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushai called unto him out of the mountain, saying, Thus shalt thou say to the house of Jacob, and tell the children of Israel, ye have seen what I did unto the Egyptians, and how I bare you on eagle's wings, and brought you unto myself. Now therefore, if you will obey my voice indeed, and keep my covenant, then ye shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people, for all the earth is mine. So when we came out of Egypt, and was dwelling in at the base of Mount Sinai, it was the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushua that came to Moses and said, obey my voice, and keep my covenant, and you shall be a special people unto me, above all people, Now, going into it, obedience is better than sacrifice, man. Because if you go to Leviticus 1 says, and the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushai called unto Moses, and spake unto him out of the tabernacle of the congregation, saying, Speak ye unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, If any man of you bring an offering unto the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushai, ye shall bring your offering of the cattle, even of the herd of the flock, and this is going to go into the burnt offering, and the significance of the burnt offering, So the Lord is saying, I would rather have your obedience rather than sacrifices, man, because you're going to keep on what he was saying in Jeremiah is, you're going to keep on serving these other gods. You're going to keep on walking in the ways that are not my ways, and all you're going to do is keep offering sacrifices, man. And the Lord was fed up with it. He didn't want the sacrifices no more, and that's what he said in verse 23. I believe when he said, I told you to obey my voice, he wanted obedience. Going into verse 3, it says, if his offering be a burnt sacrifice of the herd, let him offer a male without blemish. He shall offer it of his own voluntary will at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation before the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushai. He shall put his hand upon the head of the burnt offering, and it shall be accepted for him to make atonement for him. So let's go back up in verse 2. It says, and this is the Lord saying, Speak unto the children of Israel and say unto them. And then he's going into the burnt sacrifice, or the burnt offering, to be an atonement for the transgressor, man. So how does it say, so how are these people saying that we get these offerings from the heathen, that the Lord never ordained it? And that's not true. The Lord would rather have obedience rather than sacrifices. And we can grab that in 1 Samuel 15. And I'm going to just start at verse 1. The point is in verse 22, but I just want to give you guys the context. Samuel also said unto Saul, the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushai sent me to anoint thee to be king over his people, over Israel. Now, therefore, hearken thou unto the voice of the words of the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushai of hosts, I remember that which Amalek did to Israel, how he laid wait for him in the way when he came up from Egypt. Now go and smite Amalek and utterly destroy all that they have, and spare them not, but slay both man and woman, infant and suckling, ox and sheep, camel and ass. So the Lord is telling Saul, go smite Amalek. Do not leave. Do not spare nothing. Kill the men, women, infants, and even the cattle. Wipe Amalek from off the face of the earth. Verse 4. And Saul gathered the people together and numbered them in Telem 200,000 footmen and 10,000 men of Judah. And Saul came to a city of Amalek and laid wait in the valley. And Saul said unto the Kenites, go, depart, get you down from among the Amalekites, lest I destroy you with them. For ye showed kindness to all the children of Israel when they came up out of Egypt. So the Kenites departed from among the Amalekites. And Saul smote the Amalekites of Havilah until they cometh to Shur, that is over against Egypt. And he took Agag, the king of the Amalekites, alive, and utterly destroyed all the people with the edge of the sword. But Saul and the people spared Agag and the best of the sheep and of oxen and of the fatlings and of lambs and all that was good, and would not utterly destroy them, but everything that was vile and refuse they utterly destroyed. So Saul didn't hearken. Saul didn't listen unto the words of the Lord. Saul spared the king, kept him alive, and then he also kept the best of the cattle. When the Lord obviously said, spare them not, both man, woman, infant, suckling, oxen, cattle, destroyed all. Verse 10, then came the word of the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushai unto Samuel, saying, it repenteth me that I have set up Saul to be king, for he has turned back from following me, and have not performed my commandments. And it grieved Samuel, and he cried unto the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushai all night long. And when Samuel rose early to meet Saul in the morning, it was told Samuel, saying, Saul came to Carmel, and behold, he set him up a place, and is gone about, and passed on, and gone down to Gilgal. And Samuel came to Saul, and Saul said unto him, blessed be thou of the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushai, for I have performed the commandment of the Lord. And this is Saul thinking, that he did what's right. That they thinking that he did what's right in the eyes of the Lord, but really he didn't, man. And a precept that's come to mind is it's in Proverbs. There is a way that seemed right unto a man, but the end thereof is death, man. You know, he had gotten a strict commandment from the Lord to spare them not, And what did he do? He kept the king alive, and he kept the best of the cattle alive, man. But let's see what happens. Verse 14, and Samuel said, what meaneth then this bleating of the sheep in my ears and the lowering of the oxen which I hear? So Samuel was like, okay, you did according to what the Lord had commanded you, but why do I hear the sheep? And why do I, and why do I hear the oxen? And Saul said, they have brought them from the Amalekites, for the people spared the best of the sheep and of the oxen to sacrifice unto the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushai, thy power, and the rest we have utterly destroyed. Then Samuel said unto Saul, stay, and I will tell thee what the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushai hath said to me this night. And he said unto him, say on. And Samuel said, when thou wast little in thine own sight, wast thou not made the head of the tribes of Israel? And the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushai anointed thee king over Israel? And the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushai sent thee on a journey and said, go and utterly destroy the sinners, the Amalekites, and fight against them until they be consumed. And I'm just reading in verse 18, and it says, and the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushai sent you on a mission and told you, go and completely destroy the sinners, the Amalekites, until they're all dead. Verse 19, wherefore then didst thou not obey the voice of the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushai, but didst fly upon the spoil, and didst evil in the sight of the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushai? And Saul said unto Samuel, and Saul said unto Samuel, I have obeyed the voice of the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushai, and have gone the way which the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushai sent me, and have brought Agag, the king of Amalek, and have utterly destroyed the Amalekites. But the people took of the spoil sheep and oxen, the chief of the things which should have been utterly destroyed, to sacrifice unto the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushai thy power in Gilgal. And Samuel said, hath the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushai as great delight in burnt offerings and sacrifices as in obeying the voice of the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushai? Behold, to obey is better than sacrifice, and to hearken than the fat of rams. And so that's the point, man. That's the point of the Lord telling Jeremiah, to tell the people that, you go and you eat of your own burnt offerings, man. Why? Because the Lord gave the Lord commanded them to obey after the voice of Israel, And I just brought it out in Exodus that the Lord told Moses, concerning burnt offerings, and in how to do it, man. So the Lord, I mean, we didn't get the custom of burnt offerings from the heathen, but with the burnt offerings, it is better to obey the Lord rather than sacrifice, man. As it says in this verse 22. And let me just grab this Psalms 69 and just grab verse 30. It says, I will praise the name of the Lord. I will praise the name of the Most High with a song, and will magnify him with thanksgiving. When you go into that word thanksgiving in the etymon, it's the expression of gratitude, man. Especially toward the Most High, man. And so you go into where gratitude is goodwill. So you're gonna magnify him with honor, man. you know. And what's synonymous with honor? Synonymous with honor, obeying, you know. It says, verse 31, this also shall please the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai better than an ox or bullock that hath horns and hooves, man. And let's hit this Psalms 50. Psalms 50. And I'm gonna just start verse 7. It says, "Hear, O my people, and I will speak, O Israel, and I will testify against thee. I am the Most High, even thy power. I will not reprove thee for thy sacrifices or thy burnt offerings to have been continually before me." You know, and I'm gonna just read that in the NLT. I have no complaint about your sacrifices or the burnt offerings you constantly offer. So that's another cut, you know, showing that it's the Lord, you know, that told Moses to do the to how to conduct offerings, man. Verse 9, "I would take no bullock out of thy house, nor he goats out of thy folds, for every beast of the forest is mine, and the cattle upon 1,000 hills. I know all the fowls of the mountains, and the wild beasts of the field are mine. If I were hungry, I would not tell thee, for the world is mine, and the fullness thereof. Will I eat the flesh of bulls, or drink the blood of goats? Offer unto the Most High thanksgiving, and pay thy vows unto the Most High," you know. And what's the vow? The vow we took was a covenant, you know. And it says offer thanksgiving. And I just went into that word thanksgiving, which is the expression of gratitude, especially towards the Most High. You know, when you go into the word gratitude, it's goodwill, you know. So the Most High is looking for obedience. He's looking for obedience rather than sacrifice, man. Why? Because obedience is better than sacrifice. You know, if you obey the Lord, you wouldn't have to sacrifice, man. And with the sacrifices, like I said, you know, the people tried to one up the Lord, you know, by having the sacrifices already ready, you know, but in their mind, they already conjuring up the abominations they're about to go do, you know. So hopefully this is edifying and showing you that obedience is better than sacrifice. And that's what that Jeremiah 7 was talking about, man. You know, so I just want to end up by saying, "Call Halayim La Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai Ba'Shem HaKadosh." Want to give double honors to the apostles and the elders of the great millstone. Peace and citation to all for lacking the Ak and spreading the truth throughout the four corners of this earth. Shalom.